Hello, collective. Welcome to Intentional Conversations, where clarity speaks and confusion ends. I am Sheila, your host, and this space is designed for grounded insight, honest perspective, and conversations that don't perform, just reveals. And of course, if it's rooted in truth, guided by discernment, and covered in the authority of Yeshua HaMashiach, every episode is here to bring alignment without pressure and perspective without noise. If it resonates, take it. If it doesn't, leave it. Either way, the clarity doesn't argue, it settles. And let's get into it. So, collective, this is a very interesting day. This is going to be a short read for sure. Um, Someone thought they could play you with control. Now everything's starting to reorganize. Everything is the truth is reorganizing all the confusion. Okay. Look like the collective has hopped off the road of confusion. I call it the highway of confusion. And now they are traveling on the road of truth. Hallelujah. Okay. We have got off the crazy train of confusion. So this episode today, we're going to talk about confusion, control, and clarity. Okay. So what looks like lack is actually protection for a lot of you guys today. And what felt like an attachment was never aligned to you in the first place. So if something was imposing some sort of emotional attachment, or maybe even a spiritual attachment, or even a physical attachment, whatever it was, it didn't stick, or it didn't align. It didn't, honey, you are not compatible. Okay. Compute, you're not compatible. All right. So whatever is going on in the collective, somebody is now learning the difference between real love and emotional attachment. So somebody did the most, right? Can you imagine? And I'm using this as an example. So please, bear with me here. Just imagine you working at an office building in a mall or something, and you can see the crowd from outside, but you're working, so you can't go. You got to stay at your spot. And someone maybe you see somebody walk by, you know this person, but you don't mess with them, right? So you see this person walks by, and they're walking around, and they're acting like they're supposed to be there, but they have this energy of projecting some sort of illusion, okay, in regards to you and their connection. And so they stand in front of the building and they're like, see me, see more, see me some more. Somebody's doing that kind of vibe. I call it peacocking, where they want you to see them. They stand, they act like they're tying their shoe, they act like they're on their cell phone looking for somebody, and what they all they doing was just for you to see them. And so somebody was doing that kind of thing. They walk away and go down like they're busy looking for stuff. Like I'm not looking for you, but I'm looking for you. And I see this person, keeps going down, to the edge of the mall, doing their business in the mall. Then all of a sudden you see a bunch of flying monkeys standing out front, pretty much literally standing outside your area, having a good time. I mean, I mean, kikiing, laughing, doing I call it making a lot of noise, making a lot of um a lot of outside influence. And so you see them talking, they looking at you, laughing. They gotta be seen. And this you got to see this, kind of energy. They look at you, talk some more. And so it was a lot of, you know, people, I call it swearing up. It looked like somebody had an iPad. You know how you play football and you say, the team comes around and huddle and they said, this is the game plan. And everybody goes 10-4, hut. That's what it looked like these people were kind of doing at the mall. They were huddled together. They was looking at an iPad. They was looking back at you, laughing and looking back and looking back at you. And then the person will walk by. That key person will walk by and stand still right in front of the crowd. They was having to kiki. They were all looking. They looking at you. They looking at him. They looking at you. They looking at whoever it is, man or female. It could be you guys could be dealing with a female. Some of you could be dealing with a male. They looking at you. They looking at the person. They looking at you. They looking at the person acting completely inconspicuous, like I'm supposed to be here. Again, that same projected energy. Somebody's doing a lot of assumptions, emotions. Somebody, I'm like, I keep hearing something. I feel for you. Somebody wants you to feel something for them. And I think I love you. I feel for you. I'm stuck now. I think I love you. Somebody's doing that. Somebody wants you to see them because they believe that whatever it is that y'all have a connection, it's emotional, it's love. And when you find out that it was just an emotional, familiar energy, it's like remembering somebody from high school that you really, really like, and then you want to reconnect to somebody because you remember the good old days, and that person's not in that space anymore. The person is, float on and move on. The person has moved on, and they're looking at you with no reactions. Listen, they're looking at you with no salt. Say, hold a cup with no ice. He's like, this person's not having. This is somebody who has no love. Like you look at you, no love. This is not happening, Craig. So somebody is mixing up. Maybe they have told people some things that no, this person loved me. We were tight. We were boop, 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 boop. I don't know what they told this person. Somebody made up a story, and they was hanging around you like a moth to a flame, hovering around your environment. I mean, this person was tethering to you. This person may have married you in the spirit. We don't know what this person may have done to this to present this illusion to the crowd. And there was a lot of manipulation, a lot of outside echo. It was group looking, telling the person something, looking. It was like a football scrimmage game. And what stepped in when people said, so what happened? So there was a lot of confusion, and looked like clarity, truth had to walk in the building. And when truth walked in, a whole bunch of that crowd left. When you walked in with clarity, you walked outside maybe. When you walked outside, honey, boo boo, and you was making that left because you was exiting the truth, a whole lot of people left. Soon as you walked out, all the confusion left. And a whole bunch of confusion left with it. A whole bunch of people left with it. And there's a small few people who now they were smiling, looking at their iPad. Now they're not smiling and looking at their iPad no more. They're looking at the iPad and they got frowns on their face. They're trying to, I call it, add up the story. And then they're looking at the person who, I call it how can I say this nicely? The person who kind of edged this whole situation on, somebody who put themselves on somebody when they shouldn't have, because somehow they believe this emotional attachment was supposed to be real love. Something shifted really quick when clarity came into the room, and this is not random. So it's like people have to catch up to the truth now. It's not just about somebody seeing the lack of emotion. Somebody say, you know what? This is not an energy where your emotion is positively abundant. This is somebody who holding a cup with no ice. It's just, there's no warmth coming from it. So somebody heavily misread somebody. Maybe they thought your quietness was their access or your weakness, but it was your protection. You being quiet and watching this from a pane glass, and watching all this in your quietness was your strength, not your weakness. The people on the outside saw your quietness as weakness, and when your quietness was your protection and strength. So somebody kind of misread you, collective. They thought they just could come in there and be inconsistent to you energetically. And it's not, and I have to be honest, in the collective, this could be somebody who's not even physically in your face. This is giving high school. You know how when a guy likes a girl and they go ahead, man, go ahead, and they're edging them on, and he's doing a whole lot of projection of how cool he is, and giving high school job. And the girl's looking at him, not aware. She's like, who is he doing that to? And he's like, girl, I think he's doing that to you, girl. Girl, I think he got the hots for you. But you're like nowhere in the vicinity of that energy. You're like, what the hell? Where did they get this from? You may have talked to that person 1 or 2 times. You may have talked to them years ago, but you're not friends in that. You're not in the same circles anymore. And somebody kind of walk in like, yo, she know me. You know me. Somebody doing one of them numbers. And collective, you are nowhere near that. You're not in a lust. You're not rooted in lust. You're not rooted in inconsistency, and you're definitely not controlling. If somebody wants to control you, be inconsistent, and have a lustful energy aimed at you with an audience. And you on the other side is looking for your energy is real love, calm, clear, and you're not chasing nobody. You're looking around going, someone is really pushy, pushy, trying to act like it's right now. God, call me right now. Come to me right now. Somebody's urgent. And this could be a female too. A female doing it to a man who's probably, female's probably at some man's environment and she's just harassing him. You're gonna be my man. And there's a guy going, you're gonna be my girl. Somebody's doing one of them numbers. And the collective, you're for certain is not aligned with the chaos. You're for certain not aligned with confusion. You're just looking, and it's almost like this person is so, I have to say it, like disturbingly pushy that again, it's like a high school embarrassment where somebody projects them, throw themselves at somebody that's disinterested or never even gave them the egging to behave in that manner. And then they have an audience to that kind of egg them on for a very long time. So this is a very kind of a humiliating or embarrassing situation. This is somebody probably who wanted to humiliate you. I'm too cool for school. You know you want me, and I'm just going to stand here and peacock in front of everybody, and then watch them react. Look at me. I'm standing right here. Watch how she react. Well, if she's standing in front, she could be doing it to the guy. Look at him. He know he can't stop looking at me. Somebody's peacocking, or was, in front of you to the point where the crowd was watching to edge on the environment. And this could be done in the spiritual sense as well. Like you may not even physically be there, and somebody was projecting a storyline without your presence, peacocking supposedly in front of a crowd in regards to you and a relationship or some kind of connection that did not exist. And so this is a moment where you stop second guessing. So somebody's starting to come to the senses like, I knew something was off. I felt something was off. And you didn't really need confirmation. What you felt was that you had to gain your discernment. You know how like it's giving high school. Like you have to kind of like gain your discernment. Like every time I walk past fourth period, this idiot is projecting like I want him or I want her. And now when I walk by, now that I'm aware, I'm discerning that I'm gonna have to walk around the other side of the building instead of constantly walking past this person, because my maturity is self-aware that somehow my energy provokes this silly behavior, including the flying monkeys when I'm near this individual. So somebody's came into the discernment like, hey, I have to be mature about the situation. Since this person somehow is locked in a loop with these flying monkeys, to every time they see me or every time they project towards me, it's the same cycle of confusion, too much meddling, too much input of somebody being involved in your experience, that you have to literally walk the opposite direction and go around a different route to get to your class, or go to a different route to get to your dedicated location without stirring up the flying monkeys and this person who wants to prolong or keep running amok with this illusion that somehow there's some real love connection and etc. It's just a weird, odd situation here collecting. In any case, there's the energy is clearing up, because when you all have to be in the same building, you're going to walk in as truth and clarity. And I see a lot of people influencing, watching, and talking. But when the truth walked in, the whole room got silent. And they could see that something's not working anymore. You know how people were laughing and joking, but something was walking in and says, hey, wait. And everybody's tapping each other's shoulders like, wait, do you see it? And that funny laugh, mockery energy, oh, no. And they grab each other's arms and like, yo, you see that? And now they're looking like, uh-oh, I don't think we're going to be able to do that now. New sheriff's in town. Or it could be a teacher walking in with some kind of truth, or somebody's coming in with some sort of clarity. And now what confusion was using to survive can't exist when clarity walks in the room. So someone is walking in with a mature sounded clarity. This is not high school. Could be a teacher, a principal, could be you, collective, walking in with a mature clarity. Okay, that's what it's giving. You're severing the inconsistencies and the delusion of whatever these people have projected to you and have tried to keep going for a very long time. Now things are flipping, and now people are starting to see unexpectedly truth. People are starting to see unexpectedly you was distant all the time. Like the whole time you was the girl said she was nowhere to be found. She was not in the building. He was nowhere to be found. He was nowhere in the building. They rerouted from the chaos. They have exit off the highway of confusion. And what came in was clarity and truth. Everything starts making sense and fast. This is spiritual. Riding down a highway. And clarity was riding a muscle car of truth. You heard it coming. That's the truth walking in the building, collective. That muscle car was hopped off the road of confusion and beamed it straight to school of education of what you ain't going to do. No more. Okay. I said the muscle car clarity came with a pair of scissors and started to cut shit up. It's cutting these cords, cutting. Clarity doesn't have an argument. Clarity doesn't argue with nobody. It settles the battlefield. Clarity is settling the battlefield. There's no more war. It's the football team. The game is over. There's no more scrimmage. There's no more high school ringing on the fourth bell, walking around looking at these same cycles of loops, energies that was just looping and looping and looping. All that has ended now, collective. And now you're moving towards releasing this emotional confusion because somebody was projecting very heavily. Somebody was keeping that story. Stay alive, stay alive. Someone was trying to keep that story alive. Okay. And it did not work. Some of you, collective, most likely was breaking these attachment cycles from this environment. You were restoring yourself for your own self-trust. You started to trust your discernment now. You gain your maturity in the situation. And you just took off from the highway of confusion, and now you're on the road of clarity and truth, okay? And you're riding a muscle car, okay? And it's now less about the collective. Now the collective, you know, at first it was always about them. Now you guys have now stopped that them and now have focused on self. Thank God for that, because now you are going towards, you was already minding your business, but now you're going to be even more minding your business. Now it's not going to be, it's always them, it's always them, it's always them. Now that's being cut off, collective. It's getting cut off. Now it's more about you returning to your own clarity. You're on the highway. Now you're 200 miles on the road of clarity now. You're 200 miles. You're far away from that group. You're far away from that that illusion. You're far away from that person that was hanging on because they thought it was real love and fun and emotional attachment, and it was nothing. Okay, they did all that for nothing, and then you're riding down the highway to your clarity. Okay, you ride that muscle car to your clarity. You have returned to self. Praise it. The learning point that I want the collective to understand that not every connection that you meet is alignment, and maybe somebody was believing that your connection was way more than what it was. Somebody may have projected that they were more connected to you emotionally, spiritually, sexually, maybe all of those above than the actual truth. Somebody has a very, I call it exploited level of ego. Maybe dealing with one of them, where they think they're the God gifts to earth and everybody loves me. They worship me. And you worship me too. And then they projected that out to a crowd and use you as I call it a mockingbird. Okay? Somebody they could play with. And the spirit goes, baby, don't play with it. Don't play with it. Baby, don't play with it. That's what the spirits were saying. But somebody was playing with it for a very long time. And so now the confusion is often a signal, not a flaw. So I want people to take things not as in a lower sense. Confusion can bring you the truth. When we start to see something happening, this is to me now as a pattern breaker, generational curse breaker. When I see confusion, I say I step up as leader. I don't take on everybody's battles no more. No more. But I see clear. I say, okay, listen, I see clearly now in the situation. Let's handle A, B, and C. You choose one, and then make it, and then we just go for it in clarity. This is not playtime. Okay, we're adulting today. So don't take confusion as a flaw. You see the confusion, be in the mature sense to clear it up or give options to clarity. Because clarity is only one path, but there's many roads to it. Okay. Discernment grows through experience. This is a learning experience for not just for the collective, but for the comics too, and maybe even the flying monkeys. All this was a learning experience. God is really big on learning experience. Archangel Michael and Yeshua HaMashiach are huge on not just lessons for the comics, but the lessons for the divine collective. This to me was a group lesson for everybody involved. And everybody had their sense of karma based on time wasted, money wasted, feelings wasted, a lot of wrong decisions. And now we're reaping the lessons from this. Now we're in the age says the school was in session, and now the bell have rang, and the school is closed, and now there's an empty school ground. And we have all graduated from this experience. Now, what you learned from it? I know a lot of you won't be doing that again. And this was a long time. And of course, you don't need to prove anything when you have clarity. It's an obvious situation. I feel like this particular situation that the collective was dealing with was an obvious situation where somebody projected their ego, so I'll start to say their stance on relationships, that everybody wants me and everybody needs me, and this person can't live without me. But look at me, and then and peacocking all up and down the place. I think a lot of you have experienced that. Somebody was peacocking for too long with a whole bunch of people for you to feel a certain way. Look what you missed, and you didn't miss anything. They fuck around and found out that they did all that antics for nothing. So the next 7 days, collective, limit overthinking about the situation. Again, this is not about them anymore. It's about you starting today. If it feels confusion, pause. And instead of chasing for answers, back up. Stop chasing for answers. Again, that's what that intention is going to. You over investigating. You want to see what's going on, my feelings. And a lot of you cannot even hear yourself, because I've seen a lot of us have done it, where we have to keep finding it, even when something is telling us no. Your angels is telling you, no, don't keep looking for it. No, let's let it go. Stop. And what it is that sometimes being silent and no reaction is what is needed. But some of us, we get so emotional, we start to come expect a gadget. We have to keep striving to see what the answer is. We got to fix it and fix it today. And sometimes nothing needs fixing but silence. We have to learn that in the collective. Stop trying to fix everything. Sometimes what is needed is nothing. And another thing, for the next 7 days, protect your attention. Again, stop checking, stop overanalyzing, stop revisiting these people, stop revisiting the issue. Get off the highway of confusion. You know the truth. Get in your muscle car. Ride down the highway, focus on your healing, your inner world, and your protection, and keep it moving. Stop looking back to get another answer. Stop looking back to see what happened. Stop looking back what no longer serves you. A lot of people don't serve you. Somebody had misaligned their emotions and what they thought they could do to control you in certain ways. They found out they couldn't, and they did a whole lot. Okay, if this was a lab project, this was an absolute fail. A lot of you should definitely go into journaling. Journaling is a great idea. What feels clear to me right now? Some of y'all need to focus on clarity, truth, and not about the other people who are locked in confusion. Stay on the path of clarity. Okay? The next thing is choosing calm over intensity. I know how this feels when somebody's projecting some sort of illusion to a crowd of people, and it's kind of got that childlike high school mockery, and everybody's edging it on. People are feeding it up, and people want you to feed it too, and you're running around trying to get answers and prove and look at me. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not doing anything. I'm all that and just stop. Stop feeding it attention. Stop trying to analyze. Stop trying to prove yourself. Get into your discernment of maturity and handle it like a boss. Stop giving it access. And access is attention. So stop analyzing. Stop aligning to chaos. Okay? You go into alignment, you go into calm, and you go into truth. Okay? Do not put yourself in a misalignment looking at them while you're trying to fix yourself and fix them too. Stop. Just walk away. Let it go. If they want to stay on stuck on confusion, let them cut your cords, and you let them stay in that confusion, not you. So to anchor this in for the next 7 days, I recommend doing like a 7-day scripture anchor. And the first anchor is the Proverbs 3:5-6, trust direction beyond your own understanding. Day 2, 1 Corinthians 14:33, God is not the author of confusion. Meditate on it each day. Day 3, James 1:5, ask for wisdom and it gives freely. Day 4, Isaiah 30:21, you will hear the right direction clearly. Get off the highway of confusion, collective. Day 5, Psalms 23:1-3, you are guided and restored. Day 6, 2 Timothy 1:7, you are not given fear, but power and clarity. And day 7, John 8:3-2, truth brings clarity. Truth brings freedom. All right, so that's what I would recommend for 7 days. I'll put it on my Instagram page. You'll see it on there. What the angels are saying, the angels telling me that people need to slow down. You already see the clue, the truth with pure clarity. It is absolutely correct what you're seeing. That you don't need to chase clarity anymore. Stop riding the highway of confusion and exit off into the road of truth. What's leaving was never a stable situation. Some people are going to be leaving you. The flocking birds, the mockingbirds, the person that was projecting this emotional attachment to you, that was calling it love when it was just a familiar energy, will be leaving you. You're not losing anything that's real, collective. Don't fall into the heart. I'm broken hearted. No, you're not. Stop it. Some of it is tangling into a lot of emotions that they were feeling and projecting in front of an audience. And did the utmost, okay? Uppity utmost in behavior. And the last thing, let me see. Oh, what would Yeshua say? I tell people that all the time. What would Yeshua say? He says truth over an attachment. That means somebody's emotional feelings, emotional, spiritual, physical attachments. Truth is over all of those attachments. Alignment never comes with emotional pressure. Someone was applying a lot of pressure for you to see them in a certain way. And I mean peacocking hard. Yeshua said stay in alignment. Peace over performance. A lot of times when you're dealing with somebody who wants to project on that level, it will make you go just, I call it toe for toe, tit for tat. And you need to stay in alignment of peace and not go into Inspector Gadget to prove your worth. I know a lot of us go into this blind rage of truth and we become obsessed in gathering information of truth. And sometimes you just got to stop because it causes a lot of stress on you. It can cause your life being upheaval. And now your whole world is focusing on those people and your life is getting slighted. And now you got to turn that energy into yourself and get on that path of clarity and peace. So stay what is steady. And this is what Yeshua said. He says, stay in what is steady. I will handle what is not. So when you're praying, Stay in the path of steady. Don't go into this over obsessed. I gotta research. I gotta keep my do tarot readings every 15 seconds. You overperforming, trying to keep up with these people. Stop trying to keep up with the crazy. Stay in steady, and he will handle the rest. If this message brought clarity, you're already in alignment. If you need deeper support, structure, insight, or personal alignment sessions, I am available on my website. Explore the services designed to help you move forward with clarity and not confusion. I'm big on that, by the way. I do email readings so that my clients do not project the energy of their own disturbances and confusions. So that's why I don't do one-on-one readings. A lot of you are very gifted, but you guys got a lot of ego sometimes, and I just have to be clear about it. And some of y'all are getting in your own way, and then you're staring at me to give you answers when your spirit is already confused, entangled, emotional, and a lot of times you don't need a reading, you need a therapist. And the other half the time you need to go and sit down somewhere. That's the other half. But I won't be playing around too much. So that's why I do email readings. I can look at you and give what the spirits want you to know, and you can take it for what it is. I do have readings available, email readings. I am very great at house cleansing, no matter how negative the house is. I'm very talented in the healing arena, from sickness to emotional disturbance and spiritual. And I do not perform a whole lot of antics. My readings and connections to you're going to, I'll just tell you in advance, I'm not going to over project a lot of spiritual information to you, because a lot of you feed on that fear, and some of the entities will feed on you based on your obsession and wanting to know more about some of the attacks that you're under. I'm just going to keep it very generalized so that you're getting healed and not cycling or looping back into your original oppression. And some of you need to combine your spiritual advice with therapy, spiritual advice with a doctor's appointment. And a lot of you need to use all available resources in your growth to healing. And I'm not here to tell you one way or the other, but I'm seeing, I see those patterns, and I'm a pattern breaker, and I'm a generational curse breaker. So don't play with me. Don't play, baby, don't play with it. So if you want a reading, I am going to be coming straight from the clarity and truth. I will not sugarcoat you're not going to get a Harry Potter reading. You're not going to get me, you're not going to get an over promise. You're not going to get a performance. You're going to get a very factual, this is a human being giving me a really clear perspective. And that's what my readings are. If you're looking for predictions, I am really good at predictions, but I'm not selling that for you. I'm selling you clarity and getting you away from confusion. I'm trying to give you a perspective of clarity. So if you're looking for predictions, you need to go find somebody else. I'm gonna look at you kind of strange, okay? I ain't doing nothing strange for some change. I'm giving you clarity, and without you disturbing yourself trying to get the answers, okay? Yes, sometimes y'all get in your own goddamn way. I gotta say it like I see it. All right, if you're interested, you can buy my prayer oils. You can buy my healing baths and teas. They work amazingly. I've been under severe witchcraft for numerous years, and I would have to say that all of my products I've tested, and it works. Okay, and it doesn't just works; it has saved my behind. Okay, many a day. All right, and I thank you guys for listening. Check out EYLE.com, EYLEofficial.com. Hit a like, share on my podcast, and have a great day, and many blessings to you guys.